What's up, YouTube? I'm Danielle, and this is Kitchen Optimist. I'm a novice cook, but expert eater, taking on recipes that scare the sugar out of me 1 teaspoon at a time. Something I love to eat but have never made is French apple tarts, tarte aux pommes-ish. I don't know, I don't speak French. They're not covered the way American apple pies are, or pies in general. I'm using a recipe from entertainingwithbeth.com. I have no idea who that is. I've never met Beth. I have never done one of Beth's recipes. She's a stranger on the internet, just like I am to you. Yay, synergy. The recipe has a 4.5-star rating of over 100 reviewers, which is nowhere near the highest rated apple tarts that I found, but it was the prettiest. I really do believe, though, that you consume food with all 5 senses. As always, the recipe will be linked below so that if I'm successful, you can check it out for yourself. She has the recipe broken out into 4 sections: the crust, the compote, the topping, the whipped cream. So let's get peeling and chopping. I have my 3 apples peeled, cored, and chunked. Next up, the dough. 150 grams, 12 grams of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1 stick of unsalted butter cut into cubes. Got these mad butter cutting skills. Until combined. Butter, a couple of cubes at a time, pulsing until it's combined. 2 tablespoons of ice water and 1 egg yolk. Pulse this in until it just comes together. Guess that's together. Rolling it into a ball. Of course I have something in my eye at this exact moment. Pat it down into a disc and wrap it in plastic. Refrigerate for 30 minutes. The compote ingredients: zest of 1 lemon, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 cup of water, and 1/4 cup of apple juice. Man, they don't make these straws like they used to, huh? And let's not forget the star of our show, the apple. Now I am to bring this to a boil and let it cook for 10 minutes, and then simmer uncovered until most of the liquid evaporates. I mashed it with a wooden spoon against the side of my pot, so I'll give it an extra mash here. This needs to be completely cool before it goes on the pie crust. It is supposed to thicken as it cools. That's pretty mashed. I have no idea how long it's going to take for it to cool completely, but I'll be back when it is. So, good news, bad news. We're at full room temperature. My disc of dough has been in the refrigerator for a little over an hour now. And I have a tart pan with a removable bottom. Bad news is, I've just realized that my tart pan is 11 inches rather than 9. I don't know why I didn't check before. I think I was just so excited to have a piece of equipment that was needed, not have to buy something new, that I just missed it. So we're just gonna roll with it. So predictably, we're a little thin, but I think we can still make it work because I got these extra pieces that I'm gonna patchwork in. Okay, here we are. My tart shell is going to go in the freezer while I wrap the next layer of apples. The recipe only calls for 2 apples at this stage, but I did get an extra just in case. Thankfully, 1/8 of an inch slices. Uniformity is not my gift. Juice of half a lemon. I'll do a little bit more. Placing my apples in an escargot pattern, as she puts it. Well, mine aren't bending properly. I wonder if they're too thick. Probably. That one's definitely too thick. We're gonna roll with it. Now I'm supposed to get 2 very thin slices and make a little rosette in the center. I think I already used my thinnest slices. This particular tart, sadly, is going to be rosette free. This is what we got. Sprinkling it with half a teaspoon of sugar. I will do a little bit more. Now the tart goes in for 15 minutes at 400. Make some whipped cream. I only have 1.5 cups in here. It calls for 2, just be slightly less of delicious whipped cream. 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, or in our case, 1.5 tablespoons. A little under a teaspoon vanilla. I'm gonna try to cover the majority of the bowl to minimize the amount of splatter. Good boy. After the first 15 minutes, I turned the oven down to 350. I have it on broil for a couple of minutes. Now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of intense apricot fruit spread. And I stick it in the microwave until it liquefies. My apples are sparse. It's probably where they were thicker and didn't bend as well. As the end of the recipe says, et voila! It is literally steaming. I'm gonna give it 5 to 15 minutes to cool so I don't sear my taste buds off. We'll be back shortly. All right, moment of truth. I somehow ended up with not quite enough apples, which is interesting because I had an extra apple, which I think should more than account for the extra 2 inches of circumference. I also nearly failed math many years. Okay, so the dough is definitely not crisp. My guess is that's probably because there was less thickness. The moisture from the compote and the apples permeated it a bunch more. It's good. I like that the apples don't seem too sweet. The whipped cream is excellent. It's pretty, it's tasty. I would be happy to serve it to other people, and I would feel a little brush of shoulder off giving it to people and telling them I made it. It's really good. It'll be even better when the proportions are right, I'm sure, but I'm happy with it. We'll totally make it again. That said, things to watch out for. 1/8 of an inch on an apple is smaller than you think it is. Some of my pieces were definitely too thick and I couldn't do all the bendy stuff. Measure your tart pan before you start this process. The total time this took me was 3 hours, 19 minutes, and 42 seconds. That accounts for chilling time, baking time, cooling off so I don't burn my face time. This is really yummy. I don't know what I was expecting. For some reason, I feel a little bit like, okay, that's nice. I think I want the crust to be a little bit flakier. I think that might be it. I've already acknowledged I messed up the proportions, so I don't know if this is flakier generally, but I think I just think puff pastry level flakiness whenever I see anything French, which is unfair, but so is the world. I will totally use this recipe again. Given how long baked goods take, I think this is a 3 hour, 19 minute, and 42 second worth it dessert. There's not a whole lot of time that you can go off and do other things. So it's like most of it is active time. Now to the price. The total cost of ingredients was $57.25. It's actually a pretty, you're likely to have most of these ingredients in your pantry type of dish, which is nice. So the equipment, it's $407.78. The biggest ticket item there is the food processor. The total cost works out to $465.30. All in all, it's a first-time success, albeit with a few rookie mistakes. I will certainly be checking out more of her recipes. Let me know if there's anything you're afraid to cook. Let me know if you've made it recently. How did it go? Sometimes it's trash, and that's okay, because now you know. Worst case scenario, you conquered a fear. I mean, I guess worst case scenario, you poison somebody or burn your house down. But so like third worst case scenario, it just wasn't that great. Best case scenario, you now have a new impressive dish that you can serve to people. I'm Danielle, and this is Kitchen Optimist, fighting the good fight for mediocre cooks everywhere. Please like and subscribe for more, and stay sweet.